Over the past 15 years, I would say, it's just incredibly cool that we as a group of people who just decided to do this and have fun with it, created a whole new industry. We're not just girls on Instagram, we're girls who are running our little empire, and it's cool.
Welcome back to The Materialist. I am Mark Bridge, the founder and CEO of At Present, Matchmaker to Extraordinary Jewelry, and I am your host. We are coming to you live today from New York Fashion Week, day 1, 0, -3. It's unclear what it is, but we are off and running, and I am sitting with our partner, Charlotte Groeneveld, who we had the great joy last night of debuting something new and exciting that we will tell you more about as the conversation progresses. But welcome. Hello.
Yes, thank you.
What
So
day
nice
is
to be
this? Do we
here.
know?
I would say this is day 2 for me, being very busy, but it doesn't mean that before these 2 days there was already so much happening. It's like really, we start with our fittings and like our planning, and there's a lot of brands that would like to have you come in sooner so you can do your show looks and stuff. So on the road 2 days, but preparation is already a few before.
And one of the things that I want to talk about in terms of your content is how you blend both the extraordinarily polished and editorial with the behind-the-scenes look. But to that end, for those who haven't been, what is New York Fashion Week and what is going on? And as everybody is running to and fro, what is this production and who is it for?
New York Fashion Week is showing all its New York talent. And it's funny because a lot of past seasons, has been a little bit that people were like, not excited about it anymore. There were not so many designers they were looking forward to. A lot of designers took their shows to other cities. Creative directors left, went to other places. So it's been so much movement. But I think this season, already a little bit less one, but this season it's really back in a certain level of like excitement. I am very excited. There's a few established brands, like, and I mean with established, really like the Ralph Laurens they're showing, and then there's like new brands like Kallmeyer and TWP clothing. Like those are like making me extremely excited. They're doing cool things, making everyone really excited to go to the show, because it all takes time. It's running around from one side of the city to the other, and it needs to be for something that's worth it. We want to talk about it. We want to see beautiful looks. We want to get inspired for the next season, because this is what, you know, is ultimately what we use in the coming months.
Where does New York sit in the global fashion pantheon? And we'll get into your background and where you come from. But you are European by origin, and I know have spent a fair bit of time in Paris and often go to fashion weeks in other parts of the world. But situate New York in the global world of style.
I think I am not even really the right person to ask, because there's so many fashion weeks nowadays all over the globe, and I think they're really amazing.
There's a bunch of people who are in Bucharest Fashion Week or something.
And I mean, there's always been one in Amsterdam too, for example. So all the way like 15 years ago, I would attend that, and it was really cool. But that was just because also my view and access was different. I couldn't even dream of being here in New York City, and now this is my hometown, and I go every season, and it's just great. But for me, it's also very much based on the brands I have good partnerships with and long-standing relationships. And Paris has always been my number one. I think most brands that I feel most connected to and wear and work with, they show there. In the past, this was also London, but London just fell off a little bit. But it's making a comeback right now. Last season was amazing. This year looks incredible. I really wish I would be able to go, but it's a lot to go to all of them, and especially if you also have a family.
Detail.
Yes. So I would say New York, I would say Paris, Milan, London, New York, but not because New York isn't the best, but New York just needed some time to get his feet on the ground again. It needed some refreshment, some new creative directors. I don't know, people, it's far for people, for Europe. All the editors that go to all of them and then also have to visit here. And this is a good time of year. But in February, people don't want to. And I get it. It's cold, it's snowy, it's expensive. So I think it's not an easy place to be in for New York Fashion Week. But we're excited. We're having good weather. It's not too rainy.
When you meet somebody for the first time and you introduce yourself and someone asks, so what do you do? What do you tell them?
It's so funny because it depends on the person, because what does this person know about anything of this world we're in fashion? So based on that, I would explain to them, I like work in like advertisements, like online advertisement, but it's not with an agency. It's just me making creatives for brands and I'm in them, or I create UGC content for like a beauty brand and it's just my hands you will see, but it is me and me doing it, and it's like just one person often, or a photographer or a videographer. Or I say I'm a content creator because younger people understand what that means, or sometimes photographer because there's also parts where I'm like behind the camera and it's like more like family editorial vibes where, you know, a little bit like kids running in the fields with a beautiful dress. So it can be so many things, and that's what I love about it, but it's hard to explain. And it's also sometimes still, I think, for a lot of girls who are in this industry, it's, I don't want to say a chip on the shoulder, but we have fought so hard for a spot. But it's not like it's not still fighting. We're still doing that because it's, for a lot of people, they just think you're just in it to go on really cool trips and you're flown everywhere around the world. But that's also not the case. Like, it happens and those are the perks. But most of the times I fly myself where I need to be attending because it's important for my relationships or my brand on its own. So it's not just the bags and the clothes. It's really, building a business and doing that based off of being a content creator or photographer or advertising, marketing. Can be a little bit of everything.
As little as people understand today, I imagine when you started it was even less. You were at the vanguard of this movement and have probably set the stage to allow a lot of people to create. What did the world look like when you were eyeing over the wall and saying, maybe this could be a thing?
Yeah, it was just blogging. That was it. And there were no other channels yet. There was no social media. So it was really just building your website in WordPress, or we had Tumblr. And that was really cool. And then I remember Instagram came, and that was also really cool. But also, what is this? Oh my God, this is just photos. What are we going to do with that? We're not writing about it. Because I think for me, the fun part with the blog was that there was writing, which I always also really enjoyed, but nowadays don't do enough anymore, even though we have Substack now, which I really love, but we can go into that another moment. But it was really like sharing your outfit of the day. I would shoot it on the day itself, or in the weekend I would shoot multiple, just as inspiration for people what to wear. There were no brand partnerships yet, and I didn't make money yet. It was really just for fun. I just worked on the side. I was like in finance, and I didn't know that I could do anything else or was allowed to do anything. It's like just what you do after university, whatever. So we just kept going, and I say we because we all did. We just went to a show and we're like, oh, we can go to all the shows. Oh, we can go to Fashion Week. Oh, people actually love us to be there. Oh, we get a front row, really? So it was so valued, your point of view, your writing about your photos, your street style. Like, street style was the coolest thing. That was what it was all about at some point. Like, I remember all the street style photographers, and I have so much respect for them too, because we all grew up together on it, basically. They made us visible, and we gave them a platform to show their work. So it was really cool. But then more and more was on social media. So less and less was about writing. The blogs moved a little bit to the back, although some people changed their blogs more into like business platforms. Some girls and boys have had an amazing success with that. They had whole teams running that. But I think that was also where it was different for one or for the other. It depended on if you had a team, if you could like establish something like that.
Who are
something like
examples of
Man
that?
Repeller. It was like, obviously Leandra was always like a good example of that for me, and I think still she's doing a great job with her Substack platform. But that's not a one-man show, so it depends a little bit. I know so many who do all of the things, but it's on a different level of, it's not like a daily newsletter or whatever, because it's not possible, because you have to not only do your Substack now, or your blog technically, but you have to post on your social media. So you have your like Instagram, and you have to decide if you want to do it on your stories or if you want to do it on your feed. So where do you get, at what time of the day, the best engagement and impressions, of course, because a lot of brand partnerships around there. Or you have your TikTok, and a lot of younger people have now as their main platform TikTok, because that's where they started. And if you look at their Instagram, they're really small there, and I'm always so surprised because I so much of the Instagram generation. So it's so interesting to see, and I love finding these girls on like TikTok where they're like thriving, and then thinking you need just some support to get on that Instagram platform. But on the other end, then you see in the comments and they're like, yeah, we're not on Instagram, we are all on TikTok. So it's like super interesting to see where we got from being just like a blogger. And we all know Susie Bubble, that was like our famous coolest writer all the way in the beginning, and she still is, because she's the one who writes for Vogue now, and she has also her own platform, and there's so many cool aspects to it. And then we just evolve, and I still do every single day. I'm like thinking and strategizing and being like, okay, so this also has to go on TikTok now, so how am I gonna convert this kind of content to a TikTok audience, which I still didn't nail down who that actually is, whereas I know on Instagram. So it's, I don't know, as I explain this, that's also how it goes in my head. It's so back and forth on like how to do this, because nobody can tell you.
And then once you understand it, it's changed the next day.
And it changed, exactly. And it changes so much. And over the past 15 years, I would say, it's just incredibly cool that we as a group of people who just decided to do this and have fun with it, created a whole new industry. And everyone put sort of their piece into it and helped it evolve. And I think that's the coolest part. Like, my friends are in this industry and we're doing the same things, and we meet new people, and I love hearing about their ways of doing things, and it's just cool. It brings people together.
What is the job to be done if you zoom out and you say, all right, there's all these platforms and I have to figure out the platform to deliver something to someone?
Yeah.
What is the something and what is the someone, and why am I tuning into this content if I am on the other side?
Yeah. I think part of it is just your own creative, what you want to share, and part is that what you have to share for a brand, and it's like commercial aspect. You need to sell, or you need to get the impressions, but ultimately brands want to see some return on investment, of course. You need to figure out your audience, and you need to understand who you are as a brand. If you are operating in luxury, I personally think, or I would personally never work with a, what should I say, Walmart, because that is not my audience. And I've seen in the past, if I would do partnerships with like more high street or contemporary, it did not always work the same. Even though I can do the styling, because that's ultimately also what's so important. People want you for you. You're not like a model you can just put on anything, and that also I would never want to do, because if I don't have my voice, then I don't see the point. But you just need to know who you are and who your audience is, and then with a brand you can create incredible advertising, basically, which is not really feeling like advertising. And it's also important, but that goes also again to the two ways. Some people are really in it to just make a crazy amount of money, and they will do anything, and that's good for them. And some people are really there because they have a voice and a style, and they want to have a certain impact, and they will find their group of people. And once they find it, it only gets bigger, because it's snowball. It will get bigger once you find them. And I've seen all of those girls also be super successful. So maybe it's the quick money and the slower money, but I think you can get there both, as long as you really are consistent and work really hard. I have never not worked in these 14 years to build, and you know how this is. It's your own business. That's the same for us. We're not just girls on Instagram. We're girls who are running our little empire, and it's cool.
And I follow you because I like you as a personality. I like your style. You are bringing things to me that I'm otherwise not going to find. Why?
Yeah,
why are you compelling?
I think that's the uniquest thing you have to offer. It's you. I've had many times in my career that I was comparing, of course, like never been comparing my style, because I always been super confident in my styling and fashion, and I think also never worried about how I made it look or how I looked. Like, I never felt uncomfortable in front of the camera. Is it awkward? Yes, I find it awkward still on the street to stand there and with photographer, but it's part of it, and I find comfort in it now that I know how to do it, and we do it fast and well. But yeah, ultimately, if it's the insecurity or the doubt came really from, should I then, to be bigger and reach more people that like what I do or whatever, what I represent, get a team. But then if you have a team, we also all know how that is, not even from my first-hand experience of having a team, but from everyone talking about it, or from my husband having a team, whatever. It is all the extra work that comes with that. I didn't know if I had that in me next to being also a mother, because I also had my first two kids.
Speaking of a team sport.
Yeah, I had my first two kids when I started this blog. So nobody around me had that. So I always felt like they were running faster and they could run faster, and it made me feel insecure, and I would compare. But if I look at it now, those girls are now all in the same phase as me I was then, and I'm so proud of them for doing it. But yeah, it was hard in the beginning. I think my strength has always been that it's just really close to myself. So if you would find me, why would you follow me or listen to me or look what I'm sharing? That is because it is truly authentic. I would not post something if I did not like it. I can work with certain brands that are maybe unknown, or we don't know, maybe it's very expensive and you're like, you would never buy that. Surely, if I had money, I would buy it. But it doesn't mean that I cannot show you how to wear it in case you can actually afford it. There are so many ways to do it, but it's always about authenticity and realness. And that's what I know from my followers that love. That's why they come into my DMs and ask. I always respond to them. Literally, it's like another job to just respond to people, but it's so important. And they trust me. So they know if I wear that bag, it's a really good investment. So if you were looking for a new one, this might be the one.
Yeah. And you're setting up the blog and you say, I need a name for this. And you come up with a name. Tell us the background. Oh, we blame Thomas for this one?
Yep. No, but actually it's so cool because it's based on a photo of Karl Lagerfeld. Not dreaming even or daring to dream about going to a Chanel show. And ultimately I did. And when I told the people at Chanel, for example, about that, and also when he passed away, there was this beautiful exhibition in the Grand Palais in Paris, and that photo was there too. It's actually Karl Lagerfeld. I think it was for Numero France magazine, where he jumps with a guitar in his hand. And he also had once a guitar in his collection. But Thomas was just like, oh, it's so cool. Why don't you call it a fashion guitar? Just more like joking. And then I was like, you know what? Actually, yes, let's do it. Because everyone was just like, my closet or something, like not super like creative. Not that it mattered, but I was like, if I want to stand out some way, let's do something funny. So of course everyone would always ask, do you play guitar? I'm like, no, I do not play guitar. But I never changed it, and I don't think I will. A lot of people change their Instagram to their names and stuff. I'll just be Charlotte from the fashion guitar.
To entering the world of Chanel, maybe we'll start with, how would you describe your style? I've
always been most drawn to quality, the feel of fabrics. Like, even if I was in college at H&M, because obviously I was not buying any luxury or designer, I would walk by the racks and feel the fabrics of the clothes. So in whatever stage in my life I was, I always tried to find the right fabrics, the right fit, because it's all about the fit, and of course the colors. But colors is just, you can play it safe and you just go for like black or neutrals. And that was always me. And it was also me to be early on trends. Not that I now would say I'm really a trend follower, but there was a time, like 20 years ago, college years, I think there was so much less available in terms of inspiration because we just had magazines and model TV or something, which was on TV when you traveled in Asia. You could see that stuff, so you could see the runways. That was what it was. So whenever there was a trend, I would do it. And then people in, like, literally in college would look at me and be like, what are you wearing? Why are your nails black? Are you goth now? No, it's really cool. Chanel did just a show and they had like black nail polish. Stuff like that. It's just so little, but that was always something. And from there, just growing up, like also my audience did, I could afford the PS2, the Proenza Schuler bag. That was at some point 14 years ago, I think, the biggest thing ever. And it was expensive, and already then. And Thomas and he had his first job. I would buy that. It was a big deal. I think actually he gave it to me. But it was not that I had a rich husband to get my luxury wardrobe fund. We grew up together. We were the same age, so we had our career going together. No trust funds, no parents who would pay for anything. We just did that. So always having that sort of luxury angle and I dreamed of it and I wanted Chanel, but it was never going to happen in my mind. It's organically, but with hard work, obviously, grew there. And that's also why I think my audience is amazing. And I literally love them because they also grew up with me. And maybe they make their own money. Maybe they have a rich husband. I don't care. That's good for everyone, however. But we all landed in that place where we now can say, oh, are we buying the new Chanel bag? Or when they DM me and they're in an Hermes store and they're like, so I just got this Birkin bag offered. Should I do it? Is this the right one? And I'm like, girl, yes, you're gonna do it.
You're the enabler.
And we're all excited, and I'm excited for them. So I think the luxury was always there, and the interest and the quality and the perfection in tailoring and all that stuff, because luxury comes with that. People can say, oh, you just pay for the brand. No.
Why was that Proenza bag important to you? Where did that spark come from, and what did it mean once you had the opportunity to have it?
It was like a dream come true. I have it still. It's gorgeous. Forest green, worn so much, so run down. I think one of the other bloggers, maybe it was Brian Boy or something, had it. I'm thinking who else? Maybe Ami Song. We were all having it. For sure, we had it, the bag. And you saw it in the magazines. It was like a big push. Like now you have the new Chanel coming. This was like the new Chanel. This was like the bag. Like 100 million%. Nobody talked about Birkin bag. Not because we didn't want it, but that was just not it. This was it. And oh my God, I was so happy. I wore it all the time. Every fashion week, every show, everywhere I had it on. And it was cool. Every street style photo, it was always like on Vogue runway. You see the street style shots. It was even just photos of like, it was all horizontal and then cropped out that you saw 4 girls standing talking and all had the same bag in different colors. It was like so cool. It was just like everything.
And from there, you start developing relationships with brands. How did that come about?
I would say very naturally, organically, but again, not by itself. So you just have to network. Like, it's so funny because once Thomas and I joked to his parents about some everywhere in the world, this doesn't have to be in it anyway. This is more about the Lions Club or the Rotary, whatever.
Sure.
They are like, oh, it's so important for you guys to, wherever you are, you have to become member of something like a club that you can network. And we were laughing because we were like, you guys are so old. You have no idea where we work and what we do, because that's not where we are going to find our connections. But meanwhile, they were so pissed about it because they thought we were just arrogant and didn't want to listen to them. But I always think of that because ultimately that is all what it comes down to, your network. But you have to find
the right network.
The right network. And what was for me definitely an enabler is that I lived in London first and then New York. For me, everything changed when I moved to New York. Like, the world of opportunities here, it was really like the American dream. Sounds so fucking cliche because the American dream is so gone for so many people. It's so hard nowadays. But I think as a European in New York, it was really my strongest, like, I had to give something that wasn't here yet. And because social media wasn't as big now and there were not that many people doing what we did, it was really my selling point. There was like a girl, she has this style and we want to work with her. And there was money. I never made any money in Europe. I had one job there and I think I had to shoot. I mean, if I look at it now, I don't want to say it was not a lot of money. I think it was £10,000. But it was like 10 looks. And I had to shoot and edit and do all the things. And I was also pregnant at the time. But it was so much money. I was like, wait, that's insane. But that was the only time. So all the other work I did around that, I never really got paid for. But I didn't care because it was my passion. And that sounds horrible to say it, but it was literally, I dreamed of it. Every day I would come home and just, Thomas, can you take my outfit photo today? And he was like, sure. But that was great. But then I thought, okay, there is money, but it's just not here. And then Thomas was going here for his job and we could move as a family. James and Stella were like 6 months and a year and a half or something. And then it really started. What I had in Europe was like Burberry, a little bit Valentino, because they were very early adapters of working with influencers and bloggers, but not that much was happening. And then in New York, it was like, I met the marketing director communications from like Chloé. Until this day, he's one of my dearest friends here. We still are together. He's still in that role and grew out and now rules like the whole thing. But it's so cool how that happened. And then he is from France, so from Paris. And then he has a friend, she was also from Paris, but she worked for another brand, and he was like, oh, you have to meet Charlotte, she's from Europe, and of course you make your best impression. It's a business meeting, we go for lunch, we talk about things. I always walked away being like, oh my god, they want me? What? Me? Literally Charlotte from the Netherlands, who is nobody? Suddenly they were interested, and still till this day I feel like that. Yeah. You have to keep humble in it, I think. You can work hard and you can know who you are. It's never a guarantee, anything.
And how crazy does that make you, that the world is constantly changing?
Oh, it can make me so insecure about my job. But it lives next to where I'm very confident about my job. But this week is driving me nuts. Fashion week is making you go nuts, literally. I have had so many emotions.
Because?
Yeah, and I'm not even that emotional in the sense that I'm not like a crier or like angry. Sure, if you ask Thomas, he would be like, yeah, Charlotte can be an absolute bitch. But work-wise, I'm very balanced, very stable. I know what I want and I know who I want to work with and do and stuff. But just to deal with being invited, being not invited this season. Why am I not invited this season? Why is she invited? Wait, did I do something wrong? Oh my god, I can't ask either because that feels like clingy. I cannot ask them, and then they will have some stupid excuse why they can't have you this time. So I'm like, Jesus Lord, every season, and then we all talk about it, and I think that's also what's really important. We might all be our little one-man shows, and some people have managers and they deal with all that shit and being like bitches for them to get invites or clothes or whatever. But if you're not, and if you're doing it yourself, you just have to talk with your friends about it, because it grounds you, it gives you perspective, and you're like, oh, see, it's just not me only, it's just also them, and it's just a different strategy, whatever. And it always hurts a little bit because you are doing it yourself, and it's about you, not some company, it's me as a person. But I've also have had enough years in it to know that it most of the time comes around. It depends on the person in the job. If that person moves, it's like a dynamic. But does that make it easier even knowing it? No. No, this month so absolutely not good for your mental health. Yeah. Anyone who says it's not true, I promise you, everyone has this.
I'm sure. And so what do you do?
I talk with my friends about it, and then I try to just rationalize it, find a spot for it, find an understanding for it, find a reason for it, if I don't know the reason, and just keep going and being good at what I do and graceful about it, and never... It's hard sometimes because there is emotions and you want to act it up on them and be like mad or show your disappointment. But the best thing is to wait for 10 minutes and then rethink it. But I also don't mind standing up for myself, in a sense. There has been situations in the past where I have been honest to PR people and be like, listen, that's the thing. I think it's always important where it comes from. It needs to be from a proper understanding of, listen, I don't mind it, but I do want to understand so I can figure out how I can get back in that spot, or if we just part ways here because we have such different vision on like how a brand works. But most importantly, you just want to have a good reputation, so I'm not going to bitch around. Also, I don't want that myself because it's bad energy, and that's only going to make more bad energy. So I just want to be positive and optimistic and happy and joyful and joy to work with. But it's a lot of stuff in my head to deal with, but it always works out. Yesterday there were things that I worried about, and today I'm good.
Wake up the next morning, The sun comes up.
Have a nice dinner at night for your at present partnership with Charlotte, and then everything is better in the morning.
Let's talk about that, because that is a really fun thing. We got to know you over the summer. We hosted an event in the Catskills that you were kind enough to join us for, and we started talking about things that could be, and about your love for jewelry and about your love for creation, and had the pleasure last night of getting to share a collection that we co-created with some of your community.
Yeah.
Tell us where that came from. How do you think about the things that you want to work on? And we're obviously so delighted to get to work with you, and we see our role as bringing together people with vision, with people who appreciate wonderful things. What was the interest from you?
It's funny because I actually was I met you all and I was like feeling that there was such a good connection. So I was like, wait, maybe there is an opportunity here. But again, you have to feel that out and see how everyone responds to that and stuff. But I think I just felt that it was like really a good thing that we had going, and we had so much fun during the workshops. And then the second thought was like, wait, but would they be interested in like me doing that? Do they actually have interest in me? And because that's the thing still, as I say, the confidence always lives next to the not being confident about these things. So I'm like, yeah, I can totally do this, but do they know that I can do this? Are they even interested? Do they want someone with like millions of followers to do this? Because that's just ultimately what they want, make most money they can. So maybe I'm not the right fit. So I had so many thoughts, but then I noticed that you guys were so interested too. And I was like, wait, okay, so I think we're actually equally interested. And if that's the case, then we just have to hit it off and just do it, because we had such a good momentum there. You guys are able to turn this around fast, so we didn't have to wait and sit for like months to get something done. I'm so impressed by that. And then once we were on the same page on what we wanted, and you guys were also flexible in letting me create something, and then instead of pushing me in a direction, because it's not the first time with working with a brand, but sometimes it's hard because you have to do certain things, and then takes a little bit of the joy out of there because it's less me then. But this was all so enjoyable. And then last night to actually see the pieces, my friends be there to celebrate that, and now the next step is to show it with everyone and like make everyone excited about it, and then ultimately hopefully sell a lot of it. That's just the coolest thing. I really believe in what we made. It's very beautiful, and I didn't even dream of that. So cool.
We were talking last night about that, I don't know, anticipatory fright or anxiety. It's a little bit like when you walk up on stage and you're proud of what you have to say. And you're like, I hope everybody else is. Yeah. What was the feedback that you got on the collection?
So far, honestly, all very positive. More than positive. And I don't know. Not that I didn't expect it. But again, it's always those two things. So yeah, I was confident about it. But then to see everyone loving it, and the PR girls told us that they had such good feedback also in the showroom. So I was like, okay, that's amazing. And also that's great that we have the PR people help, because I've never had that before either. Again, that's something like really nice to have as an extra, but this is for me the first time doing that, and I know the value, but now I also see it. It's really amazing. I think we're a good like team all together and very much on the same page. So with their help, and then my audience, who has only seen so little so far, but were initially excited when we did like a teaser, oh, should we do something together? People were like, yes. And then yesterday night, I showed a few things, and it was not even that visible, just like a mix. And they were like, oh my God, this is a dream. When are we ordering it? Can you send the link? I'm like, I don't have a link yet. We're getting there. Make sure you sign up, blah, 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 all those things. So I think, touch wood, because I don't want to jinx it, but so far so good. Yeah.
It is the hardest thing to create something that is both compelling and unique. And I feel like that is the tightrope that we walk all of the time. That the things that are generally accepted in the world. We know that people want diamond stud earrings. We know they want Rolex watches. And it's very easy to create something that's unique. You just do something that's wackadoo.
Yeah.
But to find something that is both compelling and you look at this and you say, wow, I've never seen that before, I think is really at the emotional core of what At Present does. And I think one of the things that I'm so pleased with the way that this turned out is, I recognize that, but that's a new twist on it.
Yes.
We have a necklace in the collection. Maybe talk about that, because I think that's such a good example of something that starts with something that you have seen before, but the result, I think, is so unique. Which is the
4? Because we have 4 of them.
We do. I don't know. Talk about the one that you're most interested in.
I like all 4 of them for different reasons, obviously. But for example, tonight I have like a beautiful event at the Frick. So I know I want to wear the necklace that is a choker but it's open. So it's not like one that goes all around your neck and closes in the back, but it actually closes in the front and has a diamond on both ends. And it hangs, so it's very elegant. The perfect necklace for an occasion at the Frick in New York. That's one of my favorites, and that's something I think it came from the idea that I wanted a choker, and maybe I didn't even think we could do the diamond, but that was like the most amazing part of it, because that elevates it completely. But if you want to have it a little bit I don't want to say dressed down, but for a different occasion, we have the same necklace with pearls on both ends, which I think is so beautiful, because not because using pearls is something new, but because the shape of these pearls, they're all different, and it all gives a unique kind of vibe to a look. And I know nowadays in fashion, there's a lot of people who embrace their minimalist outfits and everything, and like this could bring just that extra to it. So coming from a choker that was like more traditional, the team and we actually together found this like new style of it. And I think also we never intended to reinvent the wheel. We knew there's so much out there and there's so much beauty out there. I'm not going to act, oh, I'm going to be like this jewelry designer with this new collection and never ever seen. No, we just have to make it that it feels like something that I truly want to wear every day to all the events we do. If you have, of course, I think for us in our world, we have so much going on and maybe more opportunities to wear these kind of things. But I also wanted it to be for people who don't have every night a dinner or a gala. You don't have to, but you can still wear the necklaces. So that's where we came from, I think, with the pearl necklace, which was based off the original one that we put upstate together, where it's a mix of different sizes of the pearls and the rose quartz in the middle. It's like super elegant, but it's also really nice just daytime with your knitwear in winter or summer. It's like elegant, lays high in the neck, again like a choker, because to me always the shorter necklaces is most appealing, but that's so wearable and it's day and night. And we did with the greenstone. What's the name again of that one?
Fluorite.
Yeah. Also, something we have seen it before. It's not like we designed something completely new, but it's such a beautiful color. The size of the stones, the way it's like a little adjustable in like the length. I wore it yesterday and it was literally finishing my look. So I think we did well in creating something based off what we love and what's out there, just with a different twist and unique. And to me, yeah, it's very much me. I think if you ask my friends, they would be agreeing with that.
That's the best endorsement possible. One of the reasons that I knew we were fellow travelers, and you were talking earlier about the hand of something, even walking through an H&M, but you picked up that necklace for the first time, you said it just feels good. Yep. And that to me is something that is just so critical about things that you bring into your life, that you put on your body. It has to feel right.
Yes.
And there's a je ne sais quoi to that is very hard to reduce, and I think it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I think we managed to do well on that part with our collection. Because that is truly how, exactly like you said, it needs to feel good. And when I felt it, it feels rich. It feels valuable. It feels, it's there without being heavy. You know what I mean? It's just very good quality. And I also never thought we could use like diamonds, stuff that when you were like, yeah, we can look into that. I was like, wait, that's so cool. Because I think, again, my audience maybe is... a lot of them are in my age category. They have some money to spend, but I don't want it to be too expensive for people who cannot. So I think we did so well in balancing that out as well. Have super good price point, going both sides where we can really make it affordable. And I don't want to say expensive because that doesn't mean anything, but like luxury.
Yeah.
Without being fine jewelry. You don't have to be that way. You can still deliver a product like that. And I think that we did so good.
I agree entirely. When you think about wearing this and you're talking about the event that you're going to wear it for tonight, do you think about the clothes first? Do you think about the jewelry first?
This is so funny because it's fashion week, so I have to think about many outfits, so I have to think about it. So what am I going to wear? So I actually just requested something with a brand because I want to wear the diamond necklace. But I was like, I need a look that shows enough of my neck. So I found a top and it's something with like leather gloves and a pen. It's really cool, very chic and elegant. And that necklace will have full visibility. So I hope that's going to happen. And if not, then I will find another way to wear it because it is a very wearable necklace. But yeah, I thought about it. This time I thought from the jewelry to the look. But most of the time I start with the outfit because all my work is so heavily fashion related that the jewelry is the next step, but very important because it does really make the look. So it's not like it's a second thought in the sense of it doesn't matter. But it's the second thought because it really is the point where I finish it. So this time it was the necklace, but usually it's the fashion.
Tell us what you're wearing today. What is a Wednesday look for Charlotte?
This rainy Wednesday, although it's not cold outside, I am very in love with the current Chloé collection. So I wanted to wear something Chloé inspired, and also I happen to have the new bag, the Paddington bag, which I dreamed of 20 years ago when it came out, but I could absolutely not afford it. So I'm like literally so happy right now to actually have the new Paddington. So I wanted to do something with that. So I looked actually on the Chloé runway collection to get some inspiration from like the dresses. I was like, okay, what jackets? Still keeping it a little cool. And that's how I came up with this look. But yeah, I was going to wear a necklace. But then again, I didn't want to wear the green again because I wore the green last night. It wasn't time for the diamonds yet. So I was like, okay, I will wait for tonight. I thought about it a lot this morning, literally. This was my first thought when I woke up. So funny. And if I had the climber yet, I would have worn it. But we are waiting for the finalizing of that.
The behind-the-scenes tea on this one is Charlotte needs everything to be perfect. And so we are going to get it.
Don't you act like it doesn't mean anything to you.
I share that. That's absolutely the obsession. You have such fun outerwear. I was just admiring your jacket yesterday, and you have such a fun play of proportions. I want to know about the jacket, but tell me about kind of proportions generally.
I always love oversized, or it needs to be, it can be fitted, but I've always been a girl who loves more like a more oversized kind of fit without looking like you wear clothes that are too big. But that's thankfully possible because a lot of designers actually work with that. Something that maybe even 80s inspired, like shoulders or the length that are different or stuff. So it's always been me. And I think, yeah, that's forever. It's the same today. The jacket is really large, but I think in combination with the dress, which is super elegant and feminine, and then a feminine shoe and a new season bag, it makes it all make sense. That's also the thing. I can't really explain it, but it just works. But outerwear has always been my favorite. If you look in my wardrobe, that's taking most of it. And I'm very much like a reuser of clothes. Like I'm not at all someone who wears it once and doesn't wear it again. Of course, it needs to be like when I just said about the necklace from last night. I just don't want to wear the exact same thing today. But in a week, in another event, I will probably wear a similar dress with the necklace. So we twist it a little bit around, but like it's 100% my style, and that's what people know and trust. So yeah, last night was a satin long brown dress. Brown is really good for fall. I think all year round, and I love brown, but definitely for fall. And the leather jacket was very large. It's very Saint Laurent inspired. They're very good with like oversized proportions and like slim silhouettes under. Very elegant. I did not necessarily want to wear the leather flip-flops, but the problem was I'm not really settled in fall footwear yet. So I was like, wait, I don't really have anything right now that is feeling the right thing. So we just kept a little summary. And then the big bag just under the arm, little bit like nonchalant, like easy. And then the jewelry just made it. Because when I took the jacket off, it was just the elegance of the dress with the beautiful statement jewelry. So it was perfect. It worked better than I expected. So beautiful. I loved it so much.
I'm curious, when you meet people in the world who follow you and you see something that someone is wearing, do you go, oh, I bet I know where that idea came from?
Funny, yes. Sometimes it is. But then again, it's, oh, maybe they saw it somewhere else. But yeah, even today I saw someone wear something that I wore 2 days ago. But then again, she traveled to New York, so maybe she already packed it, so we were on the same page. But of course. And it's a compliment. I never see it as a negative thing. People who know me saw me wear it, and it's fine. I've had once, though, it was really funny. I think it was probably almost 8 years ago, I think. I posted once that I was wearing the sort of 3/4 kind of gym legging vibe, like a capri pants. But it was from Nike. It was literally my gym pants with a flat, open back, flat or something with a shirt. And it was very Carrie Bradshaw. She's also obviously an icon for girls, like who started in fashion early. And someone was like, oh my God, that is exactly the same outfit as Leandra. I'm like, oh, really? I was like, oh, let me look if that was a thing. Because she was always one of my inspirations, but in that particular case, I did not think of her doing that. And I felt so offended because I was like, oh my God, maybe then she will think I'm copying her. And I don't want that. I just hope that she sees it then as a compliment because we're just on the same page. And thankfully, years later, when we met properly, and now we're like neighborhood friends, we have our kids around in the same area. Obviously, it's not at all like that. But I remember thinking that because I never wanted to be someone who copies people. It gives like a little bit of a negative vibe. That was never me. I always had my own style. But there's always people out there who love to be like negative and I thankfully, touch wood again, have a really supportive audience. But here and there, sometimes something pops up, doesn't feel right. I want to make sure that people know that's not really me. And that was them. That was the only thing I really can think of. Yeah.
I think ideas are in the ether. And when you have people that look
in the city, it's like we have so much around us. So much.
Or I have friends who I can go a long period of time without talking to, and we'll talk 6 months later and we've read the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you just see the world and you have shared interests.
Yeah. And we operate in the same space also to sense if you are really in it, we all see the things at the same time because we are obviously scanning the world for the information we want. And because we're all a little bit alike in some ways, which is also the cool part, because that is also why we become friends in our industry. It just happens. But I think if I look around to all my peers, yes, there's a lot of girls with a similar aesthetic. And it's an aesthetic that I love. It's like very minimal and stuff. It's so chic. And then people would be like, oh, I'm so done with this Instagram aesthetic of all these girls wearing the same. I'm like, no, you don't get it. If you think that is this, these girls all develop their style within this like flow of fashion. That's what they love. But they're not copying each other. They all do it their own way. And I think that's also where it just separates if you love fashion and if you have a certain sense of style. And if you're not, it's fine too. But then it's easy to judge. It's easy to judge fast. And I think if you looked around us yesterday, some girls, they have very similar aesthetic who sit there. But yet, if you put them next to each other, they're not wearing the same thing. It's just like a vibe. And I think that's what happens always. That's trends. That's just what it is.
Other than the at present Charlotte collection coming soon to a screen near you, what are things that you're seeing in the world that you're excited about that you think should have more exposure?
I thought about some brands.
Please.
Okay, let me see, because I saved it, because my brain is not remembering the right things.
And you're an A student and did your homework, so thank you.
I did my homework. Okay. Here's the problem. I don't know if I pronounce it well, because that's the thing with new brands. Sometimes I'm like, wait, do you know this brand? And then I show it to someone, and they're like, oh yeah, I follow them. They're great. Almada? I mean, as a European, you say it different anyway, because I sometimes do the A's and the E's different intonations.
Almada.
Anyway, they are incredibly great with their outerwear. I'm not wearing it now, but I got actually the silk dress from yesterday was from them. So silk dresses, it's very beautiful, very elegant, it's minimal. Then the other brand that I'm very obsessed with lately is TWP. They've been around for a while. They've been doing great for a while, but they are still, I think they should get more attention even.
Yep.
Because I went to their new store out east and I looked at all the pieces, felt all the pieces, saw the fit, and I'm like, this is a keeper. This is something, this brand is going to be around. This is like one of those brands that I'm excited about to go to their show. It's not some like huge fashion house, but it has everything that I'm looking for right now. The different fabrics, the different colors, the different materials, different everything. And it's like exciting. You look it up, you will love it too. And another one that I've been loving for a very long time in home decor, it's Ellison Studios. It's Australian, if I say that right. I think it is. Yeah. When they started, they approached me and they were like, we have a new chair and we would love to send it to you. I was like, oh, a chair? Really? That's so interesting. Thank you for offering me a chair.
Different than the usual things that come in the mail.
But then I saw it. I was like, wait, this is actually beautiful. And then I looked at their profile and the way they make and small production and like the way of their whole collection, like the vibe and everything. And I was like, okay, let's try it. And at that time, we were also moving apartments. So we talked about how we can like maybe do something together where part of it, because that's the thing, whenever you post something from your apartment, people are obsessed with that even more than anything else. So it's worth it for a piece of furniture to be a partnership. So we did that, and then I ended up, I think I have 2 chairs now and their sofa and everything, and it's now became bigger and they're very successful, I think. But they deserve it because they were one of the first and they have been doing so well. And it's like Nordic knots. Those brands have found a really good foot on the ground, and I'm proud of them. They just made the jump and started something like that. And yeah, Ellison Studios is like one of my favorites still.
Cool. Excited to check that out. The small brands question is so interesting because I feel like we're in this moment where people are bored of what is coming out of the giant conglomerates.
Yeah.
And do you see that there is a renaissance of emerging talent? Or
what's interesting, the other day I read something, I don't know who said this. It was from an interview. I wish I could now find it and know, but I really briefly read a quote, and it was something about that there's obviously every year graduating so many kids from fashion school, but there's no place for them because where do you go? That's hard, I think. I feel lucky almost that I did not have that wish in me, because that's a hard one. Like, it's really hard. I think even if you are desiring to be a small brand and do that, it's almost impossible nowadays because you can't find the money anywhere. To make an investment or get investment is so hard, especially if you are so young. So you have to get your experience somewhere first. But because there are so many, it's like hard to get in there. But it just ultimately doesn't give a lot of room for younger emerging designers to start. And if they do it, they are around for a few years and they're gone. And there's a few of them, like one of my really favorite ones was Interior NYC. That brand had so much potential, but they had to close shop. It was just not possible. And I was like, what? If you guys can't make it, what can make it? Like, how is that even legal that you are now closing shop? You need to stay open, and I love them. And I still, till this day, wear the stuff, and I always tag, the Instagram account is still around, and I still tag them, and they still see it, and they're still always so sweet about it. But I think it's just such a hard thing to do. And then for the bigger houses, like the mega houses, they're just driven by their numbers, what they need to make. So there's less room for the creativity. So it's the creatives, the younger ones, the smaller ones can do it because they have room to do it. There's no money, and then the big ones have the money, but there's no freedom to create. So it's like such a crazy dynamic we're in, and I'm excited for new creative directors everywhere now because literally almost everyone
musical chairs.
Yeah, it's like never been this crazy all at the same time. So I hope that these people, male, female, can bring their real touch to the brands that have, in the past few years, some of them have been really just commercialized, like not interesting anymore. Their couture would be the only thing that's interesting, but that's not what we wear. So, I hope that there is some room for that. It would be cool.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I hope so. Let's see, end of the month.
Exactly. We have a couple of weeks now to see what is new, and some of these new chairs are going to be sharing their things with the world. So excited to see. If people who don't already follow you want to find you in the world, where do you exist on the webs?
Yes, so I think my biggest platform definitely is still Instagram. I'm also on Substack. You find me there on the same name, The Fashion Guitar, and I really love it because it's my blog is back. Although I still have my blog, it's never closed, but I can write, I can share more, I can bring together everything from 1 week instead of every day something, and people like it there, and I like it too. I love to be there too and read my friends' articles, find new articles. Such a beautiful platform of referencing each other, like how you can literally grow together. I'm also on TikTok, but I'm not consistent. So I wouldn't follow me there, or you can follow me there. It's good for me, but I'm not doing that good there. Yeah, that's it, I would say.
Excellent. Charlotte, such a delight. Thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for talking with me. Thank you for helping us to bring more wonderful, unique things into the world.
It was a pleasure. Honestly, we could have talked all day, I feel. It's great.
I want to be respectful of your time. We'll wrap it at that, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of The Materialist. If you like what you heard, please like, rate, and subscribe to The Materialist wherever you get your podcasts. The Materialist is a presentation of At Present, Matchmaker to Extraordinary Jewelry. We'll see you next time.